Good morning. It is 6:54 a.m. on Monday, June 18th, 2018. I'm Christiana Ellis. I've been moving kind of slow this morning, not feeling super good, kind of irpy in the stomach, and I'm not sure what that's all about. But mm, this is the sort of thing that sometimes would just kind of clear up. Um, I don't know. I'm not really sure what it is, but yeah, not feeling super great right now. Kind of wishing that it would just kind of go away. Oh well, it'll be what it is. But in the meantime, yesterday I watched a few things. One, I rewatched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest for the AFI Top 100 Movies list because Mike and I maybe kind of are going to actually resume our Watching 100 Movies podcast. We would both like to. It's just a matter of making the scheduling happen. Um, but that movie is an interesting one. I have. I'm not sure what it is, but there's something in me that prevents me from feeling like I unambiguously like it. I mean, it's clearly well made. It doesn't need me to defend it being a good movie. But I don't know, something holds me back from just gushing about it, and I'm not 100% sure what it is. I have to think more on that, I guess, before I talk about it. Maybe that's why it's a good thing to have podcast discussions about these things, is you can kind of puzzle out those those thoughts. But certainly, there's a lot about the performances and everything that are very good. And I think one of the things that struck me about it, watching it this time, was just thinking about the whole subject of psychiatric hospitals generally, long-term psychiatric hospitals. I mean, obviously they do still exist to an extent, but at a much lower level than they used to, partly because there was, you hear horror stories about the loony bin or whatever. And I think to some extent the concern about that was genuine, but I think it's also possibly true that the bad PR caused by the bad hospitals led to a lot of them just being decommissioned altogether, and that produces a lot of because ultimately it's a money thing. It's expensive to have long-term care for people who are not really able to take care of themselves, and so a lot of those people just became homeless instead. um, so I don't know. I wouldn't call myself an expert on this subject, so I don't want to present myself that way. But anyway, just some of that I was thinking about. I also, though, on a much more positive note, finally got to watch the Sense8 finale, Sense8 finale on Netflix. And oh my God, I'm so glad that they finally got to conclude that story. It would have been such a bummer to have it just end where they left it, where it was like total cliffhanger and one of the characters in danger, and it's definitely kind of a fairy tale ending in the sense that there's a lot of gunfighting with a relatively little amount of actual concern for that any of the characters are in any real danger. Um, but at the same time, it's very satisfying to see that story come to a close, especially just because I like all of those characters so much. And I think that's ultimately the series did a lot of really interesting stuff, but what just stands out to me as really remarkable is how it has a huge cast with 8 primary characters, and each of them having 2 to 3, possibly more, secondary characters that are prominent, and to have all of those characters be likable and interesting. That's impressive. Anyway, really good. Um, And then also Westworld Season 2 is building to something pretty cool. It's had some really standout episodes this season, although overall, I guess maybe we have to see how the season finale plays out. But I think that mm, its through line is not quite as clear as it was with the first one. It's a little bit like how I felt about Incredibles 2 in the sense that I feel like, I don't know, it just the idea of when you try to expand the story and bring more elements into it, you can risk the theme getting a little muddled. But still enjoying it pretty thoroughly. Oh, that just makes me think about the season finale of Legion and what I have to say about that. Anyway, that'll wait. Because I'm going to talk to you tomorrow for 5 more minutes.